this is my first time teaching it and I'm excited. So first off, we're making the Froebel star or Danish star or German star. This one has like a billion names. And we'll also be making the Swedish star, which is this one here. Or I've also seen it, I think they call it a Swedish Advent star or something like that. So we'll be starting with, or we'll be making these two today. So to start out, we're going to be cutting our paper. For the Swedish star here, you can just take a 6x6 square sheet and you're going to be cutting 1/2 inch increments. I've already done that. I don't know, are we making this together? Do you guys want me to slow down and actually cut out with you, or I can just get right on to making the star? So I think I'm just gonna pretend like we've already all cut the paper, if that's okay. If you need me to slow down or anything though, or repeat anything, feel free to just pop it in the chat. So 6x6 for the Swedish star. And then for our German star, we need to have at least, depending on how you're doing it, to make this size, it's 1 inch wide, and you need to have a 24-inch length piece that's glued together. So you'll need 4 strips to make this star, 4 strips at 24 inches. So that's 8 strips that are 12 inches, and we'll be gluing those together. So we've got our stars, or we've got our paper cut for the Swedish star, and we're gonna start with some gluing, and then we'll get to the actual making of these. So I just wanted to share this trick for making the Danish star here, or the German star. You take your paper and just line up your 2 strips, and then you'll fold over the edge just to make a little bit of a lip on both of those pieces. And then just take your glue stick, or you can use hot glue or white glue or anything. Just put a little bit on the edge there, fold it back down, and then you'll nestle it inside each other like that. And just kind of pinch along to make sure that that hinge is secure. And now you've got a 24-inch, or roughly 24-inch piece of paper. So we'll let that dry. And while that dries, we're going to start gluing the Swedish star together. So this one is a woven pattern. You can see on this one I alternated my colors, and for this one I just used reversible paper and kept the same side up. So this is, I'm going to do this, but in the reverse. I'm going to have the pink up for this one. So for the Swedish star, it takes 12 pieces of paper. I cut these at 1/2 inch and 6 inches long. So we'll start with the first 6. And you take 2 pieces and just gently fold in the center so that we can know where the middle of the paper is. And then you can use hot glue, glue gun, I guess it's the same thing, or white glue or anything. I'm just using my glue stick, and just a little bit of glue in the middle. And oh, let's see, I wanted to do pink, so we're gonna go like this. So glue that together. It doesn't really matter which side you start, up and down. We're just going to be making a weave. So since this piece is on top, we're going to do the next 2 pieces underneath. So I'm just gonna mark another crease here, put a dab of glue there, and slide it underneath. And you can just line it up on the top and the bottom. And if you give it a little bit of space, that just adds a little bit of extra interest, I think, in the shape. And we'll do that again. And you can also, like I said, you can alternate colors. You can do all of the different strips, different colors. I like to use this double-sided paper. I think it just is a little bit more fun. But you can also use old books, or old magazines, newspapers. And so we're just making a simple weave. So now we're going to turn it. And since this is on top here, I want it to go underneath for these two pieces. So I'm just going to, again, mark that middle, glue. I'm just going to stick it right there. Again. Actually, I'm just going to put the glue right on there. I don't have to find the center. Perfect. Okay. And then I'm just going to mark the top here with a little bit of glue on all those corners because we're going to flip these pieces on top. And you might know an easier way of weaving, and that's fine. You just need to weave the 3 and 3 together to make a grid. So there we go. Okay, now while this dries, I like to just take a couple paper clips, or I've got these little mini clothespins, and just to keep those corners especially, we really want those to stick well. So just stick that down. Okay, and I'm going to do it again. I hope this isn't too repetitious, I'm sorry. I didn't plan this in advance very well, I guess. But again, just marking the center, glue dot, and put glue on either side, and just make a weave. Now, a hot glue gun might be better for this, just because I think it sticks really well, but you can make this work just fine, I think. So there we go. And then for these last pieces, I'm just going to stick them up through here. So like I said, there's a lot. Yeah, sorry, I just took a peek up and I'm seeing the chat, and yes, I think it'd be really fun to do it with an old book. I actually had started cutting one up when they let me know that I was going first. So unfortunately I don't have that ready, but I honestly didn't think I needed Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on my shelf anymore. So I was gonna make them Christmas decorations. All right, and I've heard, so I'm just seeing a question about old book pages, and what I've seen people do online is they'll take their pieces of paper and they'll fold them over multiple times. So you can just fold it in half even, and that would still give you a stiffer paper, or depending on how thick you fold it, you can fold it, you know, multiple times. And if you do different thicknesses, you can make different thicknesses of stars. So this is one that I made that's 1/4 inches wide by 6 inches. So it's the same length as this piece, just with 1/4 inch instead. And so it's just kind of a different look. Great. Okay, so while I'm letting these dry, I think our strip that we folded and made for the German star is probably good to go. So we're gonna just let this sit for a minute, and we're gonna move on to our German star now. So I did get those ones ready earlier. So I have my 4 24-inch strips. And the first thing that we're going to do with these is we're going to make our center kind of base for this. So there's 2 directions that you can do this. You can see this one's kind of a clockwise, this one's counterclockwise. It doesn't really matter which way you do this. It just means that the steps I'm teaching you might be opposite. It just depends on which one you do. So I'm going to be doing this design because it gives me the points going in this direction. It makes it go clockwise. And I just want to show you really quick what you can do with these German stars. They're really cool because you can piece them together to make like a wreath. So I didn't realize when I made this at first that I could do the 2 different directions, these 2 different bases. And so I actually have one of these stars that is going in the opposite direction of all the other ones. And it's this one. So if you notice, its points are going in the opposite direction. So, you know, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. It just kind of changes the way that you fold. So the folds are all the same, just they might be opposite. So, and I'll show you how we can piece those together later. So again, we're going to be doing this. So you've got your 24-inch strips folded in half. Thank you for the comments. And what I kind of did for myself, just to keep track of how to build my shape, is I just have this diagram. And you can do this for yourself as well, just to, you know, keep yourself if you want to make them all the same. So I've got one fold, I'm gonna go this direction. Okay, maybe I'll leave this down here so you can see how I'm building it. And then I've got another fold starting on this side. And then a fold here. And a fold here. So next we're gonna do just a little bit of weaving. So you want the open end to fit into a fold. So I'm just gonna tuck that in. And then I'm going to tuck this open end into this fold. Just kind of pull those in a little bit. Now I've got this piece. So I've got it open and I'm gonna tuck the open end into the fold. And then I'm gonna take this open end and tuck it into the fold here. So now that we've got that, just kind of pull it tight and it'll start cinching itself up a little here. There we go. So if you wanted to make something with a 12 by 12, I would just say cut a 1/2 inch or even a 3/4 inch might be okay on a 12 by 12 piece of paper. If you don't want to have to make the 24-inch length. Or you can use a newspaper as well to make these. So one thing, and this is just one of those small detail-oriented things, you can see all of my folds, the little flap from when I glued these together, I made sure that they're all facing up on this side. I just want them all on the same side, so then it's easier to, I guess, hide them, you know, if I wanted to. So now that we've done this, I think I might undo it, actually. I don't know if I want these pinks right next to each other. I want them over here. So we're going to be making an alternating design. Yeah, so depending on how you alter them, let me show you this. So I'm just gonna undo this really quick. So this is one that has 3 pieces red and 1 of this like bronzy color. And this one is made with 2 bronzes and 2 reds. So if you alter them, then it'll determine which points are colored. And I haven't exactly figured out the science of it yet. But I think if I were to keep it in the pattern that I had currently, then these 2 points would be the same color instead of these 2 points being the same color. So I like them being more like this. So I'm going to switch it. And I think these 2 points then would have been the same color and these 2 points would have been the same. So we're just gonna switch it out so you get to see that whole thing again. All right, so I've got my open end here and I'm just gonna put that in the fold, and then I'm gonna open this up, put it through the fold, and then stick that in there, and there we go. That's better. And you can do these all with just a solid color. You know, that's fun too. Or like I was saying earlier, I forgot to show this, I have a newspaper one that I did. And this one I didn't fold over, so it's really very soft, but you know, that's kind of a fun texture too. So, all right, now we're ready to start folding. So you're going to, I start from the bottom and you just flip it straight up. And it's important to go in this exact order. So now I'm going to go up to this side on the right and fold that over top, and take the top piece and fold it down, and then this left piece and fold it across. Now, if I just fold it across and leave it like that, then it doesn't keep our 4x4 grid. So we're actually going to just slide that down. And you know what? I forgot to do a step here. So something that you can do is just cut a little notch out of the end, and that makes it a lot easier to just slide it through. Just kind of manhandle it. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got this, you'll have one that's a little bit shorter than another. So you've got two different lengths. And we're going to start again on the right side, but this time I'm starting on the top. And the reason I do that is because I see that there's a little pocket here that I can fold into. This is a different pocket, so that doesn't work for us. We can't actually fold into this one, but this one we can. So you'll see what I mean in a minute. So take this top piece and you're going to fold it around so it's out to the side and just crease that to make a point. And then next you take this and you fold it back on itself and make another point. And then you fold it on top of itself. So it just flattens up nicely. Once you've done that, then you just, I like to kind of fold it back a little bit because I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna slide it into that pocket I showed you earlier. And it should come out the other side, like that. And it kind of can get tricky right there at the end as you're pulling it through. So just keep tugging, kind of work it a little bit. And we're going to keep doing that around the edge. So we're going to turn this clockwise and we're going to do it again. On the right side piece, twist and fold it under so it goes to the side, and then fold it back so it's now parallel to this side, and fold it on top of itself. And again, fold it back and slide it in. And then just tug until it levels out. Great, and then so we just do this multiple times until we get all the way around. So there's going to be 4 on each side. So this is the top side. We fold it there. And then we'll take it back to the back side once we get the 4 on this side done. There we go. And the last one for this side. Okay. If you need me again to slow down or repeat anything, I definitely can. I just want to blitz through this so I don't take up too much time on this. Okay, so on this last one, this is one we need to be careful of. So you can see there's the flap from our star point that we made earlier. We want to make sure that we catch the pocket behind it. So don't just go through this part, we have to go through this part. So down like that. And if you need to fold this up out of the way to see better, you can do that as well. Oh. Oops. That's really satisfying to me. Okay, so now we've done that, we're going to flip it. So we're on the back side. And for this one, we don't need to flip our pieces up or anything like that. It's fine how they are. So we're just going to do the same thing, but make sure you're taking the top piece, which is now going to be much longer. And you're going to twist it underneath to the side, crease it, fold it back so it makes a point like that, and then fold it down. So like that. I have seen people make these kind of stars, and they'll dip them in like a wax or something like that to preserve them. I thought that might be kind of a fun Christmas gift for somebody. I think you could also use these, you can hang them, you know, put a wire through or string to hang from a Christmas tree, or I think you could even put them on like a gift or something like that if you don't have a bow. Hold it like that. And tuck it in. Now see, this one is a little bit snug, so I'm just gonna make a quick cut there to give myself a point. so that it can sneak through. So one thing I did forget to mention as I was building my base, I'll just show you on the little sample here. If you don't leave a little bit of a gap here in the center, then once you get to this point, it can get a little bit more difficult to feed those pieces through. So you don't want it super snug. You want to have just a little bit of a space. And I think I didn't leave enough of a gap for myself. And that's why I'm having some problems with it. But that's easy enough to fix if you get some scissors and just kind of snip a point to feed through. Okay. Yes, so you can definitely make this star with a ribbon. You know, it's just 24 inches for if it's a 1-inch ribbon. I'm sure you don't have to make it that long if you're doing a smaller ribbon, but you can definitely make a ribbon. So you can see here, I'm having a little bit of a hard time. It kind of bundled up on itself. So I just kind of opened the point a little bit and just kind of tug until, there we go, now it's nice and flat. Okay, so you can't see it, but we have done all of our star points. So we've got all the outer points done now. So the next and final step for these stars is to fold up again. And this time we don't want to overlap any of these. So we're just gonna kind of pinwheel all of our folds here. Gotta get that one out of the way. There we go. So now our pieces are lined up again on top of each other with the top and the bottom. So we're just gonna do from this side. And this one gets a little bit tricky, so bear with me. We're going to take our point, or our paper, and we're making an angle down. Okay, so we want our point to be coming out from the center. Okay, like that. So we're going to take this and make it stand tall. So it's like that. This is where we get our 3-dimension. And you're gonna take your end and you're just gonna swing it straight around and kind of flatten it out. And you're gonna feed it underneath that little paper gap right there. And it comes out the other side. I'm just pushing this out of the way. And you're just gonna give it a little bit of a tug, okay? And that is how we get our point. If you pull too tight, then it can make the point crumple a little bit, but you just kind of tug back on it to straighten it out again. So we're gonna do that again. We're gonna start our low part of our point at the center. Make it stand tall, and then flip this around, just bring it over and down. And I can see it's a little too tight because, again, I didn't give myself that space. So I'm just gonna kind of snip a little bit off there and put that through. There we go. If you can get enough through, then you get that leverage on the other side where you can give it that nice tug. There we go, like that. And again, just rotate it, start the point at the center, make it stand tall, bring it around, and I'm gonna clip that too. It saves yourself time if you wanna clip these all at the beginning. I forgot about that, so we're clipping as we go. So just kind of shove it under. If it's softer paper or something that's a little bit thinner, you might have a hard time manhandling it through like that. If that's the case, you might just need to start over and make it again with a little bit looser base. You can also, I'll show you when we get on the other side so there's not so many flappies in the way, but you can go through the end of the star to grab the piece that's in there. So again, fold it low point at the middle, stand it tall, swing it around, and we're just gonna save time and snip that. And just force it through. See, now it's coming out that side and pull. And if you need to, you can also wiggle it a little bit as you're pulling it through. That can help if it gets stuck somewhere inside. Okay, so final bit where you can do the same thing. You could actually, I was thinking about this, if you wanted to make this a flat bow, you could stop right here and just cut off all these little extra bits, cut this off back here, and there you have a flat bow that you can put on a present. If you want to, then you can do the same thing on the back to make it this extra dimensional star. So I think I'll just show you what it looks like if we do it like that. Because I already have enough of these. You've seen the steps, so you know what to do. I'm just gonna snip that. And what you can do at this point, and you can do this before you cut if you'd like, but you can go in and just add a little dollop of glue on the inside of these points, just to kind of close them out. I never have, and if you do that, then you won't be able to weave them together to make the wreath I showed you earlier, but you know, it all just depends how you want to use it. So since this is going to be flat and nobody's going to see it, I'm just going to chop these down so they're not in the way. Okay, and there we go. We've got a flat pack star that we can put on top of a gift. You could just weave a little ribbon through, or I think you'd probably have a little more luck with wire or string, or just glue it. You know, get a bunch of glue on there or a double stick tape and slap it on your gift, and there you go. So let's see, the wreath. So to make the wreath, and actually you can do it with these too. Dang, that's cool. I'm realizing so many things. So when you look at your stars here, you can see that there are points that are kind of closer together and then points that are wider apart. So to make a wreath or to string a bunch together, you're going to take the points closer to each other and you're going to put them in between the points that are wider. So you just kind of wiggle them in there. And there you go. So you can also stick those wider points in if you want. I'm a little lazy and that's just a little too much effort. So I just stick them on top and I think it still looks nice. And you can continue the same pattern going across like this. So you can make just a straight banner, which could be really fun. You'd probably want matching stars. Yeah, or a pin back. Oh, that would be fun. Tell you what, Jennifer, okay, you can make a cute little one. So this was made with 1/2-inch strip, so a 12-inch length of 1/2-inch wide. This would be a perfect little pin. You could just do the half side and you've got a little flat pin. That'd be so cute. Thank you, Jennifer, for that addition. That would be great. So if you want to make it rounded, you've got your two next to each other. Then you're just going to take these as the skinny points and put them in the wide points here. And that would give you the curve that you need. So you just keep doing that to make your wreath, which I took apart, but you get the idea. Okay, so now that we've beaten our German stars to death, we're going to move on to the Swedish star. Do we want to take a break and let our other crafter go? Because I know she has work and probably a little more responsibility. Or I can keep going, if that's okay, whatever you guys would like. Because I don't want to, I know I was supposed to go second and I don't want to impede on the time, so.
Sure, why don't we let Jennifer go, because hers is kind of a shorter craft, and then we'll go back to you. Okay, so thank you, Lauren. That was really cool. Next up is Jennifer, who will demonstrate how to make gift bows out of recycled paper.
Okay, so today we are going to be making recycled paper gift bows. So if you ever were wrapping presents and forgot to buy a gift bow, there's an easy way to make it out of paper. So what you're going to need is a sheet of paper of your choice. I like to use magazines or catalogs, but you can use pretty much anything you'd like, even like gift wrap paper or scrapbook paper if you really like the design. And then we're going to, for this one, we're going to cut them all into 3/4 of an inch strips. So, and then we're going to cut them to be about 10.5 inches. 3 of them will be 10.5 inches long. 3 more are going to be 9.5 inches long, and 2 strips are going to be 8.5 inches long, and then 1 strip is going to be 3.5 inches long. And then we're going to be twisting these basically into kind of figure 8 shapes. So what you want to do is have, so I wanted this side up the blues to be the outside of my finish ball. So here's one I made earlier. So that means I have to have the wrong side up right now, and then you're just going to kind of twist the strip around like so, and then you can fasten it with the adhesive of your choice. So you can use tape, or a glue stick works also, or a stapler. So then I kind of lightly kind of fold them in half to find my middle point, to just make sure that the little ears on each end will be even. And then I'm on my Zoom mobile app, so if there are any questions in the chat, if someone could let me know, and then I can answer them, because I'm unable to see the chat and my video going at the same
Sure,
time.
I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. All right. So I usually would just kind of loop them all. And then you can use, let's see, yeah, different things like comic books or comics, and it's pretty easy. Okay, and then the shortest strip, what you're going to do is you are going to kind of roll it, make a small circular loop. Like so, and that's going to be the center. All right, and now we're going to take your biggest pieces, and then we're going to just arrange them kind of into a 6-pointed star, or like a flower shape. So you just kind of want to make sure they're kind of all evenly spread out. And then again, you can use tape or whatever you'd like, but I find it easier to just use a stapler when for this part of it. We have 1. And then we're going to do the 3 medium-sized ones, like so. Okay. And then we're going to stack them on each other like that. And then the last 2 kind of fill in the center. And there's no, like, I kind of like to make sure the petals are offset for each layer. And then the second one like so, but I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. So once I have it how I like, you might have to open your stapler up to make sure you can get it in there. And then once you get that, and then you can just fluff up the bow pieces again. And then for this last bit, they do kind of look like snowflakes, especially with this blue color. And then I just put like a little loop of tape on the back, and then you just stick it like so. And then there you have it. And then you can try using different size strips. So it's basically kind of in inch increments. So if you change you can scale it up and down in different proportions. And it's pretty easy. So, you know, like it'd be a fun craft for like kids or things like that. And just a great way to recycle all of those holiday catalogs and things that you're probably maybe getting in the near future. All right, and let me jump over to chat now really quick and see if there are any questions. But yeah, it's very, very easy and simple. And the only thing I would suggest is if you're going, the smaller you go, you're gonna probably have to cut down the strips to maybe like 1/2 inch thick, depending on it. Yeah. So, and then one of the things I was thinking that I put in the little, in my instructions were like, you know, if you use the takeout menu to match the restaurant gift card you're giving, or an old comic book for a superhero toy, or I've seen people use like bus schedules and maps and things like that. So yeah, basically whatever type of paper you want to use, you can have totally different looks. And you can even make, my sister used this as a table centerpiece. She had a table runner, like a red one, and she made giant gift bows with wrapping paper. So I don't remember how wide her strips were, but you know, they were pretty massive. So it looked like the table was kind of like a Christmas gift, and I thought that was a really fun, easy, cheap holiday decoration that she did. So you can make them any size. You could even, like, if you were going to give someone a car or something huge like that, like this would be a great way, instead of paying like $20 for a huge gift bow, you know, just make it out of paper. Okay, and then I guess we can go, if there are no other questions, we can go back to Lauren. And I'm really enjoying learning how to make all these different paper stars.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. That was really neat. Yeah, we'll go back to Lauren if she's ready and she can finish up her craft.
And I've gone ahead and just made a little bit in advance so that I can show you how to compile it together, because it's all just very repetitive things. So we've got our woven pieces, and they're probably dry enough. We can just unpin them if you'd like, or you can work around them too. So you can see I've already kind of jumped ahead and done a couple of these. So they're really easy. You take the two that are kind of next to each other, and you're going to fold them under and twist it just so that they're facing up instead. So, and then you just put a dab of glue on the end, and like so, and then just clip it in place so then it can dry and hold itself. That's kind of one way I like to, or one reason I like to use hot glue for this one is just because you don't have to paper clip as much. So again, just rotate it, and we're going to take the two that are right next to each other, twist them underneath. If you twist them this way, the point, can you see how it's now facing into the center instead of facing out? So that's why we twist it underneath and up. So again, I'm just going to take my glue stick, dabbity some glue on there, twist it, and then paper clip that in place. So I've done that already on both of my pieces here. And you're going to take one and put it so it's kind of belly up. And you're just going to kind of rotate this so that all of your little twisties sort of nestle in with each other, like this, okay? And we have these big center strips that are just poking out. So you're just going to kind of poke those into the holes made by those little twisty bits, like that, see? And then I'm going to flip it and do it on the other side. Just kind of poke those down in, that. And your star is pretty much done. So at this point, you're just going to take your glue. Hopefully your corners have dried. Just unclip that, and you're just going to take a little glue, tap that on, and place that down. So there's a few different ways you can kind of glue them down. So on this one, I pushed in my points a little bit, so then it kind of puffed a little in the middle. This one I just glued straight across, and I'll show you what I mean. So see how this is kind of sticking out the edge there, sticking out from the point? I can shove that in a little bit, and it kind of makes that bow up a little bit more. So that can just change your dimension just a little bit, or you can make it flat. And if you're using white glue, you know, you can kind of slide it around till you find a happy place. Just pin it in place so that you can dry. And you just move around the circle like that. I'm just gonna make these a flat lay kind of, so I don't necessarily want too much poof in this star. So I'm just kind of letting it rest where it falls, like that. And I may not need to necessarily paperclip at this point, but it does just kind of help secure it as you're moving everything around. So that. And you're just going to make sure you do that on both sides. And then once that is dry, then you'll be able to take off the paper clip, and you can just trim down that point. And you just do that on all of them. So I just have, I think, 3 more that I need to glue. So I flipped it back to this side. Glue. Now I've seen these done where like our center panel only was 3 by 3, you know, so a total of 6 pieces of paper. I have seen people take even more. You can do like even a 6 by 6 grid, and the more that you have on the side, you only need so many in the center to actually make the pieces connect. So you always will need 2 kind of mats, I guess, 2 bases that you'll glue together. But if you add more to the sides, then you get more points that you can curve under. And you can curve them at different lengths. Like I curved mine all so that they met at the point. But if I'd overlapped them a little bit more, then it would have made a smaller curve instead, if that makes any sense. So, and then they just stack their curves so that they all end up building together. So, oh, I didn't prepare one, darn. Let's kind of fake it with this. So if we have enough, then we can curve them together like that. We're totally faking it here, you guys, so bear with me if you want. But you can make it so that they layer up like this instead. So not just 1 point on each corner, but you'll have like 2 or 3 even. For that kind of a design, you'll definitely want to do kind of a thinner pieces of paper or much longer. 6 inches would not be enough to do that. I think I've got 1 more here that needs gluing. Okay, so that's that. So I'll take all my paper clips off now. I think it's dry well enough for today, and just trim those down like so. And we've got our Swedish Advent star. I can see that some of my points have not quite glued, but that's okay because I can just tack that on later. I'm just going here violently. There we go. And if you wanted your pieces to puff up, you can even kind of hide those tips. Here, I'll show you on this one, that since it's not good. I probably didn't have to cut it if I'd pushed it in more and that made it puff. And then it would have just kind of nestled inside instead of coming off the edge. But there you go. So that is our Swedish star. So thank you so much for your patience today as I overwhelmed you with a billion stars. But yeah, so you can make these with ribbon, drafting paper, pretty much everything that Jennifer was saying that you could make with hers. So these ones I think would be a little easier to string up just because they have so many holes. It'd be a lot easier to loop a piece of ribbon or yarn through that. And also since it's got that nice opening through the middle, you'd be able to just thread a ribbon right through that, and you could again use that as a bow on a gift as well. So thank you. I think that's it for me.
Very cool. Thank you, Lauren and Jennifer, for demonstrating great craft ideas. These are perfect for the holidays. This concludes our program. Thank you for joining us for this month's Next Steps program. Next month, we will take a break and we will restart in the new year. Today's program is made possible through HLA members like you. To join or to continue to support HLA, check out our social media.